So now personally, I'm not a war kind of guy. I mean, I'm just not into guns and all that stuff. I mean, I don't really think manning a drone from far away is really heroic. But we're not here to talk about that. We're here because tomorrow is Memorial Day here in the United States. And Memorial Day is a day where we Americans are supposed to remember those who have died for us in the war. Now, World War II was a very big war. A lot of people died in that war. People were drafted. A lot of people enlisted. Of those, there were some notable Major League Baseball names on that list. And do you know how many of those Major League Baseball players who were participating in World War II died?
That's easy. 200 is twice 100.
Not 200, just two.
Two?
Their names? Harry O'Neill and Elmer Gideon. O'Neill was a defensive replacement catcher for 2 innings without recording an at-bat. Gideon, on the other hand, only got 3 hits and 17 plate appearances across 5 games. Now, Gideon, his career might have been a little bit brighter had he not died in the war. At his time during Michigan, he was a star athlete for 3 sports. He was actually on track to run track at the 1940 Summer Olympic Games in Tokyo, but, the war sort of canceled that. Now, how O'Neill died, a bullet went through his throat and there went his spinal cord. Gideon, on the other hand, he actually survived the plane crash during practice, but then in the actual war, his plane was shot down, he was captured, and then later killed. Now, a lot of baseball players, for the most part, especially the star ones like, Joe DiMaggio, Bob Feller, and Ted Williams, those guys, they were given some preferential treatment. They weren't really supposed to go out and fight in the war because, they were the heroes in America. Their jobs were basically to play baseball and be morale boosters. And that didn't sit well with some of those guys. DiMaggio didn't like it. He requested to actually be in some combat and they kept denying him. Bob Feller, he was sent to Hawaii to go play baseball and drink beer. And after a while, he's just like, I can't do this anymore. And requested to actually, get into combat. And unlike DiMaggio, he was actually given an assignment. He was sent to the South Pacific where he saw a lot of action on the Alabama. Ted Williams, he was a bit of a different story. He didn't really get to fight in the combat. And while some guys had frostbite and broken legs and bullet wounds and everything, Ted Williams, he suffered mentally. And not as big PTSD and whatnot, but he had a new perspective. Baseball wasn't everything he knew it was supposed to be anymore. He had a new respect for the people, and he felt terrible that he wasn't allowed to really go in and fight and give his life for what other people were going through. Now, do I think the preferential treatment is wrong? Yeah, I do. You're put into that war, you should be fighting. It shouldn't just be a morale booster. Yes, we do need morale boosters and whatnot, but to the extent that baseball players, that they were being regarded almost higher in popularity than say the likes of Elvis and the president, I mean, that's pretty impressive. And this is why baseball is America's pastime. Because from throwing a baseball to throwing a grenade to catching that final out in the World Series to catching frostbite out in the war, it's what makes baseball players ordinary men doing extraordinary things. Baseball brings America together. And that's what Memorial Day is supposed to be about. It's bringing the American family together and keeping everyone remembering those who had died for us to keep us where we are today. I'll see you Thursday.